Sagittarius, take a deep breath now. What I'm about to tell you will make your entire spirit relax in a way you haven't felt in years. That restlessness you carry in your soul, that constant feeling of being fenced in, that sense that your fire has been dampened by duties and restrictions, all of that is about to end. On November 29th and 30th, 2025, your 7-year karmic debt will be officially paid off completely. Definitely. Forever. I know you didn't even realize you were paying off a debt. You just felt that your natural luck had somehow dried up, that your arrows were hitting walls instead of targets, that your desire to expand was constantly being met with contraction, that you tried to fly, yet you seemed to be tethered to the ground. This wasn't bad luck. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't because you lost your spark. It was because you were paying a bill that came from another time, another cycle, another version of yourself, over the past 7 years. Every restriction you faced, every moment your freedom was curtailed, every time you asked yourself, "Where is my path?" was actually clearing a deep energetic debt. And now, finally, the last installment will be paid. The universe has checked your accounts, seen that you have fulfilled everything you needed to fulfill. And on November 29th and 30th, 2025, it will release you completely. Can you feel this possibility of absolute freedom? Even if your mind doesn't fully believe it yet, I need you to understand what really happened in the last 7 years. You probably look back and see a sequence of delays, confusion, and a crisis of faith, plans that were canceled, trips or adventures that didn't happen, philosophies and beliefs that were shattered, leaving you wondering what was actually true. How many times did you feel like your voice wasn't being heard? How many times did you blame yourself for losing your signature optimism? The truth that will set you free now is this: you weren't doing anything wrong. You were paying. With each limitation you accepted with grace, you reduced the debt a little. Each time you found a way to smile even when you felt trapped, you paid off another piece. Each time you chose to seek the truth, even when the lie was more comfortable, you zeroed out another line on your cosmic account. And now, on November 29th and 30th, 2025, the universe will look at you and say, "It's paid. You are free to roam." But what exactly was this debt? Where did it come from? Why 7 years? I'll explain it in a way that will make everything make sense. 7 years ago, in November 2018, you were at a specific point in your life where certain directions were chosen, certain boundaries were tested, and certain karmic lessons about freedom and responsibility were activated. You may not remember exactly what happened during that period, but your spirit remembers. It was when you entered a cycle of intense maturing, where you needed to prove your wisdom, your adaptability, and your ability to find meaning even in the mundane. The number 7 was not chosen by chance. In the universe, 7 represents complete cycles of transformation. It is the time needed for each cell in your body to be renewed. It is the period it takes to learn that true freedom isn't just running away, but building a life you don't need to escape from. You have gone through a refinement process that had to last exactly 7 years. No more, no less. And now this cycle is closing on November 29th and 30th, 2025. I want you to do a mental exercise with me now. Mentally go back to November 2018. Who were you back then? How reckless were you with your energy? What did you believe about the world? Now look at who you are today. Can you see how much you've transformed? How much deeper, more grounded, and more philosophically sound you've become? All this evolution didn't happen by chance. It happened because you were being forged, tempered like the tip of an arrow. The karmic debt you were paying wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The universe wasn't clipping your wings to be cruel. It was grounding you so that when you finally fly, you have the stability to soar higher than ever before without burning out. You needed to go through these 7 years of grounding before you were ready to receive the expansion that is coming now. And what's coming, Sagittarius, is so vast, so limitless, so far beyond the horizons you've seen until now that you needed to be absolutely prepared to navigate it without getting lost in the vastness. Are you ready to discover that all the restriction had a greater purpose? On November 29th and 30th, 2025, something extraordinary will happen in your energy field. It's as if an invisible cage that has surrounded you for 7 years is suddenly dissolving. You've learned to pace inside this cage, adjusting your stride to compensate for the lack of space. But on these 2 specific days, the door swings wide open, and for the first time in 7 years, the horizon is actually reachable. The feeling will be surreal. In the first moments, you might even hesitate at the threshold because you've become so accustomed to walls that the open space might feel overwhelming. It's like a wild horse that has been corralled for years and is finally released back into the wild. Your muscles are tense, expecting a fence, but there isn't one. Gradually, you'll begin to run. Things that were always blocked will start to flow. Visas, travel plans, educational pursuits, or publishing opportunities that were stuck will suddenly clear. The wind will finally be at your back. For those born under the sign of Sagittarius between November 22nd and December 1st, this liberation will manifest primarily in new opportunities and luck. You will begin to see doors opening that you didn't even knock on. The universe will start saying yes to you again. For those born between December 2nd and December 11th, the settling of karmic debt will more intensely affect your passions and personal drive. That fire in your belly that felt dim will roar back to life, attracting romance and creative adventures. And for those born between December 12th and December 21st, the liberation will occur at the level of identity and wisdom. You will finally be recognized as the visionary you are, and your words will carry a weight and authority they lacked before. But regardless of when you were born, all Sagittarians will experience one thing in common on November 29th and 30th. A feeling of expansion so profound it might even make you laugh out loud. Not just a chuckle, but a belly laugh of pure joy. As if you've been holding your breath for 7 years and can finally shout your truth to the world. And with that shout, all the repression, all the doubt, all the accumulated stagnation will leave your body. Are you ready to finally aim your arrow at the stars again? I want to talk about something you've probably never connected with before. That constant feeling of being misunderstood, of being seen as too much or too intense, yet feeling oddly lonely in a crowd. That was also part of the karmic debt. The universe placed you in a position where you had to find the truth within yourself, because you couldn't find it in the external world. And you did it. You built your own philosophy. You became that person who can find the silver lining even in a thunderstorm. But now that you've developed this inner compass, you no longer need to walk alone. On November 29th and 30th, 2025, the universe will begin sending you fellow travelers, people who understand your language, tribes that vibrate at your frequency, synchronicities that will connect you with mentors and students who need your light. And the most beautiful part, you will be wise enough to engage with these people without losing your independence, because you have already proven that you are whole on your own. Now you can choose to share your journey. Sagittarius. There's something the universe observed in you during these 7 years that qualified you for this complete liberation. You never let your light go out completely. Even in the most cynical moments, you didn't let your spirit die. You may have been tired, bored, or frustrated, but you didn't stop seeking the truth. You continued to believe that there was a bigger picture, even when you were looking at a blank wall. This ability to maintain faith in the future is what made you deserving of such a complete turnaround. Many people who go through difficult 7-year cycles emerge cynical, closed off, and afraid of the unknown, but not you. You emerged wiser, more grounded, and paradoxically, more hopeful. You now understand that freedom isn't just about lack of commitment. It's about the ability to choose your commitments. You know the value of a true adventure because you know what it's like to be stuck. These qualities you've developed won't disappear when the debt is paid. They will remain with you and will be the foundation of your success in the new phase that is beginning. The universe has finally heard you. These words need to resonate within you. Every time you looked at the sky and asked for a sign, it was noted. Every time you wanted to run away but stayed to handle your responsibilities, it was recorded. Every time you shared a piece of wisdom with someone, even when you felt lost yourself, it was seen. The universe has a perfect accounting system. Nothing you did went unnoticed. And now it's time for the reward. On November 29th and 30th, 2025, you will begin to receive back multiplied. Everything you gave during these 7 years, all the energy you invested will return as luck. All the optimism you tried to maintain will return as opportunity. All the truth you spoke will transform into influence. I'm not speaking poetically or metaphorically. I'm talking about real and tangible changes, trips being booked, businesses taking off, profound connections being made, and a vitality returning to your body that makes you want to explore the world again. It's as if the universe is compensating for all the years of stagnation with a velocity you didn't even know was possible. And the most incredible part is that you will be ready to handle this speed. If this freedom had arrived 7 years ago, you probably would have been reckless with it. You might have run in circles, chasing meaningfulness without finding it. But now, after everything you've been through, you know exactly where to aim your arrow. You will use your freedom with purpose, gratitude, and direction. The universe waited to give you the world until it was sure you were ready to explore it without losing yourself. Can you see now that the delay wasn't a denial, but simply the time it took to build your bow? I want you to pay attention to the signs that will begin to appear in the coming weeks before November 29th and 30th. You will notice that your intuition will become razor sharp. You'll start having dreams about places you've never been, or urges to learn new things, not drastically overnight, but gradually, like the first light of dawn breaking the darkness. These will be the first signs that your liberation is approaching. Pay attention to your energy levels as well. You might feel a restlessness, a need to go, intensifying. Don't suppress it, but don't act impulsively yet. Observe the people around you, too. Those who tried to hold you back or dim your light will naturally drift away. Don't fight to keep them. Let go with gratitude. and observe the new people who bring fresh ideas and exciting perspectives. They are gifts from the universe showing you that the adventure has already begun. Specifically on November 29th and 30th, make a point of being outdoors if you can. Don't fill those days with mundane tasks. Create spaces of openness, go for a hike, look at the horizon, or simply stare at the sky. You need to physically feel the vastness to integrate the changes happening within you. Pay attention to this sense of possibility. It's one of the greatest gifts you will receive. And when the debt is officially paid off, when you feel that cage dissolving, I want you to do one thing. Don't immediately sprint to the next destination. Sagittarius, you've spent 7 years wanting to run. Allow yourself a moment to simply stand still and realize you are free. To feel what it's like to have options without the pressure to choose one immediately. This moment of pause will be essential for you to fully integrate the transformation and prepare to receive everything that is coming. The new phase that begins after settling your karmic debt will be characterized by one word: alignment. Things will start to align perfectly, timing, location, and opportunity. It will seem strange at first because you've become accustomed to bad timing and near misses. But gradually, you will adjust to this new reality where the universe is conspiring to get you exactly where you need to be. And when you fully adapt, you will wonder how you managed to tolerate the stagnation for so long. Sagittarius, I want to talk about something that might feel foreign to you. After your debt is paid off, you'll have to learn to settle into your joy. And truly settling in is harder than constantly chasing the next high. For 7 years, you've conditioned yourself to seek, to search, to look for the exit. But now, you'll need to learn to be present in the happiness that arrives. The universe will offer you abundance, and you'll need to accept it without feeling the itch to leave it behind for something better. This will be your new lesson. Understanding that the treasure you were looking for is right where you are standing. You deserve happiness not because you traveled the furthest, but because you are a child of the universe. The karmic debt was merely a fog that prevented you from seeing the beauty of your current reality. Now that it will be removed, nothing will block the view of the magnificent life that is unfolding for you. Are you willing to allow yourself to be happy right here, right now? November 29th and 30th, 2025 will mark not only the end of a difficult cycle, but the beginning of the greatest adventure of your life, living without chains, without doubts, without cosmic heaviness. You will discover what it's like to wake up with that signature Sagittarius enthusiasm, but grounded in real purpose. And this lightness will transform every aspect of your existence. Your physical body, especially your hips and thighs, which Sagittarians often hold tension in, will respond to this energetic release. The urge to move will become a joy, not a nervous tick. You will sleep deeper and wake up ready to conquer the day. Because when a karmic debt is paid off, it's not just your soul that is freed. Your physical vitality registers this release and begins to surge in ways you didn't even know you were missing. Your mind will become expansive, visionary, and prophetic. That mental clutter that sometimes made you scattered will sharpen into laser focus. You will have big ideas, understand complex truths, and see the future with clarity. Because your mental power was being used to calculate your escape from the cage. Now that the cage is gone, all that mental energy will be available to create, teach, and inspire. Your emotions will stabilize into a warm, steady burn, rather than an erratic wildfire. This doesn't mean you won't be passionate. You'll feel everything even more deeply. But without the burnout, without the lows that followed the highs, without that feeling of aimlessness, Sagittarius, I want you to know that what is happening to you is special. Not everyone gets to reset their compass so completely in this life. Most people wander without direction for decades. But you were chosen to have this clarity restored in this very existence. This means there is something very important you need to do with your debt-free life, something you can only accomplish when your aim is true. The universe has set you free because it needs your vision, because it has missions for you that can only be fulfilled when you are optimistic, truthful, and free. You were not freed solely for your own enjoyment. You were freed so that you can be a beacon of hope for others who are still lost in the dark. Your story of regaining your faith, your resilience in the face of stagnation, your ability to smile when things were bleak, all of this will inspire and help others who are going through their own crises of meaning. On November 29th and 30th, when your debt is officially paid off, you will feel a new responsibility forming within you. Not the restrictive responsibility that weighed you down, but the noble responsibility of the teacher and the guide, to live your life so boldly, so honestly, so joyfully that it serves as proof to others that life is essentially good and worth living. This is the true settlement of karmic debt. When you go from the lost wanderer to the wise guide, when the universe supports you because you kept the faith when it was hard, and now it's time to receive the blessings with interest, with adventure, with cosmic gratitude for keeping the flame alive. Are you ready to claim the abundance the universe has stored for you? Share in the comments if you recognize these 7 challenging years in your life. Sharing your story will help other Sagittarians validate their own experiences and prepare for their own launch. Subscribe to the channel now, because November 29th and 30th are just the beginning. After your debt is paid off, you'll enter a completely new phase of your life, and you'll need guidance on how to navigate this uncharted territory of freedom, wisdom, and success. Turn on notifications to receive updates as we approach these powerful days. Remember, your 7-year karmic debt is being paid off on November 29th and 30th. 2025, you will be officially released. The universe has finally heard you, recorded all your patience, validated all your hope, and decided that you have paid enough. Now, it's time to fly. It's time to explore. It's time to live the limitless life that was always destined for you, but was blocked by the debt you didn't even know you were paying. Get ready, Sagittarius. Your liberation is here.